This video is for the chain stitch, which is the stitch right here. This is just two chain stitches right next to one another in two different colors. The chain stitch is a great bold outline option, so let's get into it. To start the chain stitch, the origin of your stitch, you're going to come out at the very end of the line. Okay, so this is going to get a little weird. For the chain stitch, the first entry point of the needle is going to be the exact same point that the needle came out. So, or, you know, just like a hair over if you can't really squeeze them both in there. The exit point, so you're going right in where you just came out. The exit point is going to be one stitch ahead, in this case, 1/4 inch. And then before you pull through, you want to tuck your thread behind the needle, and this is what's creating the chain. So again, your entry point of the needle is inside the loop in the exact spot that you came out of. And then exit point is one stitch ahead. Before you pull through, tuck your thread behind the needle. So an easy way to remember to do this is to just leave your thread up there, swing it back around, so you've just got this giant loop instead of having to loop the thread behind your needle every single time. So I'm putting my needle back into the exact same spot inside the loop that it came out, bringing it one stitch ahead, and because my thread is looped around the needle on the fabric, when I pull through, that thread will naturally loop behind there. So I'm going to do it both ways a couple times so you can get the picture. Again, the entry point of the needle is inside the loop in the exact spot where the thread came out. Come out ahead before you pull the needle through, wrap your thread behind the needle. And it's just, you're not like wrapping the thread. That would be way too much work. You are literally just tucking it behind, kind of like tucking your hair behind your ears, like that motion. It's just very simple. All right. And then if you want to do it the little more extravagant way, every time you pull your thread out, you're going to pull it to one side and then bring it over here back into the same spot and out. So that way, see, you can't really see, but there's just a giant loop, and pull through, and that will that'll catch. Okay, inside the loop, bring the needle out, tuck the thread behind, or pull your thread to one side, bring the needle over to the other side, bring the needle out, and it just naturally makes a loop. So to end the chain stitch, you're going to make sure that that last loop is held down. Otherwise, they can all unravel. So to hold down that last loop, instead of going back into the loop like we've been doing before, you're just going to insert the needle on the outside of the loop, like so. So I'm going to do that a couple more times so you can really get the idea of it, starting and ending it. So the origin of the stitch is right at the end of the line. Entry point of the needle is in the exact same point. It's weird. It's great. Bring the needle out, and because I have created this giant loop, I can simply pull through. Again, have my thread over there, bring this side over here, so I have a giant loop, and pull through, and the thread automatically cuts behind. So what happens if you don't catch your thread behind the needle is the loop doesn't get caught. All the rest of the loops don't get caught. You end up with this weird thing. So if that happens, I would just pull my stitches out and start over again. But in this case, I'm just gonna go back to the beginning. Let's try it again the right way. Again, bring your needle right in the exact same spot. Coming out, wrapping your thread behind the needle so we don't have those all come loose again. Insert in the same spot, come out, wrap your thread behind the needle. Insert it into the same spot, come out. I've got this natural giant loop that's happened, so I don't need to wrap. So to give you like a smaller scale of seeing what the giant loop thing I'm talking about is, basically it looks kind of like that. wrapping this giant loop. So you don't really need to like tuck it real tight behind every time. It's gonna go behind if it's looped around. All right, there you go. And now the variation on the chain stitch that we're going to do these little rays are, this is called the detached chain stitch. So what that is just individual chain stitches that stand on their own. So I'm going to come out at the end of this ray, and then just like the chain stitch, I'm going in the exact same spot I came out, and then I'm going to bring the needle one stitch length out, looping the thread behind the needle, and then just tack that down by inserting the needle on the other side of the loop. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to the base of the next one. Okay, and insert the needle at the exact point it came out. Ooh, could I get a squeakier chair in here, please? And then wrap the thread behind the needle, pull it out, and tack that stitch down. So insert the needle in the same spot it came out. Make sure that thread is behind the needle. And tack that stitch down. So there we have it. That is the chain stitch in both the attached and detached variations. All right.